Good morning. My name is David Barker. My pronouns are he, him. These past few months, I've had the wonderful honor of being a mentor to a bright young man as he prepared for this coming-of-age service. A person who shares a lot of the same interests and passions I had when I was 14. I joined Chalice 29 years ago, and 29 years before that, I was the age these youth are today. I'm not sure that means anything, but it's sort of a nice mathematical observation. One that I'm sure Xander will appreciate. After all, he wears a t-shirt that says, "I'm the square root of 196 years old." When I asked him what he likes to read, he said magazines about cars. He knows more about electric cars than a lot of people that own them do. No wonder he's eagerly waiting to get his driver's permit. Next year or soon, when he will be the square root of 225 years old, he'll have that permit. And he'll also be the vice president of his high school chess club. And anecdotally, guess what he was doing just before service? Chess.com is one of my go-to places also. As you just heard, he is also an accomplished violin player. But beyond these interests and achievements, as you're about to hear, he's developing a clear statement of faith that really resonates with me. I'm looking forward to watching him grow as he continues to learn and develop his mathematical, scientific, musical interests, as well as his spiritual views. Please allow me to introduce Xander Petrus.
Thank you. I believe that the only true religion consists of having a good heart, the Dalai Lama. Throughout this program, we have been trying to understand what we accept as true. On Sundays between 3:30 and 5:30, we would meet to ask important questions regarding our beliefs and values. All of these discussions culminated when we went on a spiritual trip over the weekend and spent hours alone in nature. I did not have a large spiritual awakening on the camping trip I went on in this program. The reason for this is because every day while I was in this program, and even before I even started it, I was already formulating what I believed in. From all of the things I have observed, I have created an outline of what I believe. I still haven't learned a lot of things. I still haven't learned how to drive. I still haven't learned how to do taxes. I still haven't learned how to fold fitted sheets. But there are some things that I have learned. When we first joined this congregation 5 years ago, I saw the first principle, the belief in the inherent worth and dignity of every person. This principle is the most important to me. And as it turns out, I learned this principle before even coming to this congregation. At the age of 5, I decided to stop eating hamburgers when I learned what they were made from. I used to let kids go in front of me in line in kindergarten, because in the scheme of things, it just didn't matter that much to me. I don't believe in a God or higher power, as there is no proof in my eyes. From what I have seen in life, there is no plan. We are aimless. The mere fact that life even exists on this planet is just due to luck. I feel that our lack of purpose, however, gives us a greater purpose, as we are forced to make the purpose ourselves. There are still some beliefs that I am unsure of, however. I don't know what happens after we die, as there is no evidence for anything that some may believe. As a matter of fact, I don't even care that I don't know. To me, the knowledge of this does not impact the way I live my life. So how does this tie into religion? I grew up with parents who had denounced religion. When we first came to this congregation, I didn't know what religion really was as a whole. According to the Oxford Dictionary, a religion is a belief in or worship of a superhuman controlling power. I do not agree with this definition of religion. As my mentor says, the Latin root of religion is ligare, which means to bind. This congregation fits that idea. It is a community of people bound together by similar beliefs and values. I am appreciative to all the volunteers for showing me that religion is not just what the dictionary defines it as. It is much more. It is a community. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Debony Holm. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I have been a chalice member for about 5 years. I am Genter's mentor for coming of age. Jaden is very artistic and has been a lot of fun to
Flexibility in
mentor.
these new
We have
days.
laughed a lot as well as had
So,
serious talks. They live in Pennsylvania, so our time together has been via Zoom, which we have continued today. So Jaden, the floor is yours as soon as Sam is done reading.
Hello, I'm Jaden. I'm 15 and in 9th grade. I moved to Pennsylvania almost a year ago, but I've been going to Chalice for 8 years. This is my faith statement, so here we go. Belief is messy. It's strange with blurry lines that cross into each other. I often end up having different ways to think at different times. But I know belief is supposed to be the light you bring into your life. I have seen a lot of different religions. With all the religions I have learned from, I have ended up threading the pieces together to create my belief system. It's not very big and has a lot of holes and sometimes confusing. But I feel like anything worthwhile in life is confusing. But I do know some basics. I'm a firm believer of having to know where you have been to know where you are going. Even if it's remembering the dark, scary paths you wish you never traced, and especially the happy ones that you laugh at even now years later. And I have been a lot of places. I have traveled paths of many religions. I have met many people who have taught me many things. I have people who I think I will always look up to even as I turn older. Some who have came and gone, but I will still remember. Some who I might end up forgetting in the years. And I have had people who have long since passed but still think about fondly, and those who will watch from wherever they are now. I have started to touch on a lot of these subjects during coming of age. One of those being faith and what I have faith in. I have a lot of faith in a lot of different things, one being about how I would become happy in a life I like living. I also have faith I will meet the people I need to meet. I know this because of how we are created. We are created by stardust colliding, particles attracting, and even as we grow into this new being, we still set out to find our communities that will tie us to our past and future in ways we can only decide. I believe that in our lives, we will always meet those we need. I believe instead of having a major God or something, that the universe creates our life as one big connect the dots. Dots being important things in our lives like people, groups, and events. But unlike the ones we are used to, the dots aren't labeled, and all the universe doesn't know but when you'll hit those moments for sure. But it knows that you will hit those dots and create something beautiful. Some of those dots mean you lost your time with someone. That can mean either in death or just going on two different roads. And for when it happens to be death, I have a clear belief that has been with me for a long time. What happens in the afterlife depends on our own beliefs you carry. If you believe in heaven, you go to heaven. If you believe in reincarnation, you reincarnate. But no matter what you believe in, when you die, you will say hello to your loved ones again. Having loved ones die hurts, but we have power to create beauty out of the bad things. We have the power to create greater friendship in the time you need to have someone to lean against. Whenever I need help, I have people who I know will always be there for me no matter what. And I know that those tough times will only help us grow. It can be really hard to grow sometimes because you need to learn how to set memories aside and become a new person. and feel like you don't have anything to follow or any ways to know you're not lost when you're trying to find something new about yourself, can also create something beautiful. You often find things can be more beautiful after you wander around for a while. And even if you do get too lost, you still have those memories. You just need to learn how to wander away from the old one you every once in a while. And I have wandered a lot throughout my life. And it began here and sorry. And if being here has made one thing clear to me, is that I like wondering and thinking about new things, new thoughts, and ideas from different religions and different angles, and thinking about what it means for me. Wondering about what I can do as I grow and who I will be. Because even after all of this, I still don't know. But I do know that if I ever get too tired from wondering, I still have a foundation to come back to. And I thank my foundation for that with everything I have. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Daniel Lernad, and I've been a member of Chalice for about 8 years now. When I was asked to be a mentor for the Coming of Age program this year, I was very excited to learn I'd been paired with Griffin. It has been great getting to know him better, spending time together, and getting through the tough questions in life. Namely, what is the best vehicle for navigating a zombie apocalypse? Well, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but there is no one right answer to this question. And the answer may change as you walk down your path in life. Developing a faith statement and discussing what it means to be a member of our broader community is a great journey of self-discovery. And I'm so proud of Griffin right now. This is someone so down to earth and comfortable in their own shoes that they radiate warmth all around them. And I do encourage you to check out the shoes because they are very awesome. So it is now my pleasure to introduce Griffin Smith.
Hello, my name is Griffin Smith, and I am in 9th grade. This program has helped me clear up a lot of things, but also a lot of things have stayed the same. I didn't believe in gods or God before this program, and I still don't, nor any other type of worldly power. I don't believe in an afterlife or that there's some sense of karma or justice in the world. I believe everything that ever has, will, or is happening has happened because of chance. That life is just a balancing of energies in the universe caused by some elements colliding in just the right way, in just the right conditions. You don't have to agree with any of this. I am just stating what I believe in. I don't deny that there could be a governing power or could be a governing power over anything, but I don't personally believe in it. Since I don't believe in a governing entity or an afterlife, I believe that we are the ones in control of our lives and that we are the ones able to make this world the one we want to live in. I can't wait to see how my beliefs change as I continue to grow.
So I'm here to introduce Casey, and I will be speaking her words here in the sanctuary while she does it online, on Zoom. Like I said before, I've been involved and witnessed many coming-of-age cohorts. This is the first time I've had the opportunity to be a mentor, and it has truly, truly been a pleasure. Casey is an amazing young woman. We haven't been able to spend as much time together as I would have liked because she is so busy. But that's good. She's so active. She's so vibrant. She's so wonderful. And she listens with her whole heart. And it has truly been a pleasure, Casey. Thank you for letting me be your mentor. So now we have Casey, and I will bring up her words that she sent me. Okay. And she'll read online. Go for it, Casey.
Hi, I'm Casey. I'm in 9th grade, and this is my faith statement. Consciousness is such an odd concept. How do you define knowing that you exist, knowing that others exist, and understanding that you are separate from them? Is the thought that I am a separate entity simply an evolutionary advantage, or is it something greater? Maybe we start with something smaller than the concept of consciousness. Let's start with I. Who am I? That's pretty easy. I'm Casey. I swim. I enjoy art. I have brown hair and I have hazel eyes. But without my eyes, without my interests, without my body, who am I? If I do not remember my own name, then am I still myself? Can you still rightfully call me Casey? Without my memories, without my knowledge, do I cease to be me and start to simply exist? I would not consider myself a religious person. I don't believe there is a higher power or anything that happens when we die. I personally believe that we fade out into nothingness. However, an experience I had recently crushed my world and shook me to my core. I was sitting with my back to a tree. I had been taking notes on the wildlife to pass the time during the wilderness retreat. I looked up into the tree shading me to see a small bird. I turned my head and wondered what it thought of me. In the same moment, the bird turned its head and stared at me. It seemed perplexed, wondering who I was. And it was then that I lost Casey. I lost me. For a brief few moments, I could not distinguish myself from the bird. I saw myself from above, from its view. I felt what it was to be the bird. We were one and the same. It entirely shattered my perception of my own self. Casey is just my memories, just my body. It is simply how others perceive me. My personality, my sense of humor, and my taste in music are all trivial. They are just results of my brain, results of my upbringing. The truth of consciousness, the truth of who I really am, is existence, and that existence, or soul, you could call it, will not cease to be, whether I am a bird, whether I am a plant. I will be me as long as I can exist. At this point, it seems odd to even distinguish myself from anyone else. If I am a bird, then I am you. You are me. We are all one and the same. And if you are me and I am you, then your pain is my pain. Your joy is my joy. Your experience is my experience.
Good morning. My name is Trey Henry. I've been a Chalice member for coming up on 3 years now. I remember meeting M. Mellinger. By the way, Casey is awesome. We did the camping trip, and I got a chance to just witness her a little bit, and she's something truly special. So, I remember meeting M. Mellinger, sort of, at a little jam session that Anthony put together right out there in the parking lot during the pandemic. I don't think Em and I'm pretty sure we didn't exchange a word, but when you play music with someone, you're told a lot of secrets. When I was approached about being a coming-of-age mentor for Em, I thought, really, me? I've always considered myself much more suited to receive mentoring as opposed to dishing it out. But I thought maybe I'll learn something, and I did. The obvious move when I took this on was to look at the 16-year-old me and try to remember what I needed to hear back then. But after talking to Em for a bit, it was clear my 16-year-old self was no match. M is insightful, he's respectful, and he's powerful. He's confident in what he knows, and he's hungry to learn what he doesn't. Obviously, these are qualities that any parent would hope to install in their child. By the way, Mike and Kendra, mad props to you guys. But there's more to it than that. M has decided to do this whole thing his way. I've always believed there are two sorts of people. There are the ones that you meet and you know exactly who they are. They're kind of obvious, and they want to be obvious. Then there are the M's. Sure, they care what you think, but they have a special gravitational pull. They seem to have a clear view of their path. It may take a minute or two longer to get to know these types, but those are the people that stick with you in more ways than one. M is not obvious. So it's my pleasure to introduce M. Mellinger.
Thank you. Hi, I'm M. I'm 16. I've been coming to Chalice for almost 4 years. Over the past few years, my beliefs and assumptions surrounding that which lies outside of my perception have fluctuated immensely. My ideas around it tend to have a lot more to do with my own personal experiences rather than external persuasions. And I like to find knowledge of the infinite in the fact that it is inconceivable. And I think that answers to some of life's bigger questions can be found within the smaller ones. Often I notice that when I try to make sense of my metaphysical beliefs in linguistic terms, it can diminish their impact or their meaning. And I don't feel like they affect my mindset in the present moment, so I don't always feel like it's necessary to define how I feel or what I believe. In this life, I don't really feel a need to unnecessarily concern myself with what comes after death. Whatever resides beyond this plane doesn't affect how I want to spend my time on Earth. And although beliefs involving the afterlife fascinate me, I do not feel a need to cling to any one idea. I usually enjoy the concept of understanding things that exist outside of my perception, but any specific details regarding this typically don't affect my perspective. And I try to just act according to my own reasoning and perception rather than trying to think of everything in a more grand way. Part of this is that I think it's important to treat others how they want to be treated, regardless of your own personal issues or judgments. Overall, I try to make that my guiding principle and top priority with everything that I do and all of my interactions with people. Last, I'd like to say a really big thank you to all the volunteers and mentors that facilitated the Coming of Age program. I really appreciated the dedication and commitment that you showed throughout all of these months. Thank you.
I'm too short. Got it. Oh boy. You, holy cow, you're amazing. So for the youth and mentors and facilitators that are here in person, would you please come up and join me? Oh, in front. Stand up so everyone can see you. And if it's possible to see our others on screen, that would be amazing too. Every time we hold Coming of Age, there are those wonderful faces. We give a traditional necklace, chalice necklace. Some of them have them now. Casey, yours is coming. But also we have another special token. For our youth, to show appreciation for their intense inner work this past year. Casey, you'll receive yours. Jaden, yours will be coming in the mail. I'd also like to thank Brian and Dana, Holy cow, my amazing co-pilots and the fantastic facilitators. I so love and adore your support and your light. You have been such an amazing beacon to everyone in this program. Thank you so, so much. Thank you to our mentors. Oh my gosh, you're amazing that you were willing and able to step forward into this kind of unknown but really fun experience. I hope you got something out of this too, because I know the youth did by having you in their lives. Thank you to everyone for your service to this community and to these amazing young people and families. Thank you for trusting us. Thank you. Thank you for trusting us with your precious cargo, because it's a lot to loosen up your loving grip on these fantastic beings. Thank you, thank you, thank you.